Okay, am I the jerk? People want to know here, and they send in emails. We'll give them the ruling. Somebody want to know if they're the jerk for not giving their boss a ride. It says, my boss asked me for a ride after work because his car broke down. I had my parents' 30th anniversary that I had to get to, which I was already late for. My boss was going the opposite direction I was going, so I said, look, you know what? I'd love to, but unfortunately, I can't give you a ride. My boss looked shocked when I said, no. And then the next day, I told some of my coworkers what had happened, and they all started making me feel bad for not giving them a ride home. They're like, oh, man, that was a bad move, dude.
It is a bad move. You got to assess the situation.
But if I'd have been any later to my parents' anniversary party, they would have killed me. Am I a jerk for how I handled the situation? It would have put me way late.
Either way, you're going to be a jerk. It just depends on who you want to be a jerk for, your boss or your parents. It sounds like you are the jerk to your boss.
Look, your parents have to like you. Your boss does not.
Yeah, imagine that Elizabeth, our boss, our top boss, she's in the office, but you gotta go pick up the queen. You're already running late, and you know the queen's gonna be mad. But Elizabeth asks you, Kevin, can you please drop me 15 minutes away from where you're going? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean it's a no-win type of situation, but it depends upon, I guess, what I have to go see the queen for. I mean, you're talking about a 30th anniversary party. This is, one thing that doesn't happen very often. You do also have Uber and things like
boss,
that.
Go take an Uber, boss. That's what you got to tell your boss.
Yeah, I mean, they do have an easier solution to doing that.
Hey, Elizabeth, I can't give you a ride. Why don't you take an Uber?
I mean, if they come to you and ask you, they're putting it out there, and for you to deny them,
Yeah.
It would be tough, man.
I would probably do the ride and explain. I think the two things that I would weigh is who could I get forgiveness from quicker and faster, and whose angst would have more repercussion on my life.
I mean, technically, it's not your job to give a boss or any coworker a ride home, but we all know how that works because I'm already seeing comments. Well, that's not under your job description. I get that, but there's
office politics.
We're talking about a boss. We're talking
feelings,
about human beings, grudges,
emotion.
This stuff. You can say, oh, it's under the guidelines. Yeah, okay. How's that going to really work for you?
Yeah. So it really just depends. I mean, I think pretty much with anybody that you look at in your life, you can weigh, okay, how is this going to sit with them? Some people are like, okay, no, not a big deal. And it's really legitimately not a big deal. Other people, it could be a big deal. So if it's Elizabeth versus my wife, I'm probably going to go get my wife.
Yeah. And if it was me, I think
Elizabeth would forgive me faster.
If it was my parents, I would take Elizabeth, and then I would come back, and I would get less crap.
Same.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah. So I think it really just depends upon who are the two parties that you're dealing with in this moment.
Who are you more scared of?
Yeah.
It's all going to depend. You're right. It depends on the equation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what about this? They want to know, am I the jerk for trying to shelter a 15-year-old? My son's 15, and he wants to watch a show called Euphoria on HBO. I told him that the content that I've heard is way too mature for a teenager, and my husband thinks I'm being unreasonable and that we should allow him to watch it. He thinks that we shouldn't shelter him from adult content and feels that we are turning our son into a snowflake by having a safeguard on what he watches. It's like he's 15. He's going to be an adult very soon. Well, I put my foot down on this, and now both of them have an attitude towards me. I just think the content is too adult for a 15-year-old. Am I a jerk for not allowing my 50-year-old son to watch the show Euphoria?
I heard it was like heavy about drugs.
And there's a lot of
sexual content.
Kid's 15. Look, he knows of it and he's seen it, but yeah, how much do we want to immerse his mind and have it soak in?
That kid's already watching way worse stuff. I can tell you that much.
So the mom should just get over it and let him watch it?
Look, you parent your kid the way. I'm not one of those people that think if you watch something bad, it's going to make somebody bad. I think if you you communicate with your kid, especially if they're older like that, and talk with them, I think you can watch adult content to where it doesn't screw them up.
Sometimes, too, though, I don't think as a parent it's a bad idea, even though your kid's still going to find a way to watch it, for you to still have guidelines. And I remember there were a lot of things I know I was going behind my mom's back on to do, but I knew where she stood on it. She didn't want me to be doing it, and so I'd have to sneak to do it, and I sure did it anyway. So, I mean, ultimately, But I always knew that my mom had standards and she had guidelines, and not everything in life was a green light. I had to work hard to go and see Euphoria or a show of that nature.
Yeah, I think there's an age that where your kid starts to get old enough to kind of figure things out. Mm-hmm. You don't want your kid at age 12 watching Euphoria. That I get.
I mean, if you want to be nice, maybe watch it with him and then talk about it.
That would be so awkward. The kid would be like, "Nah, Mom, I'm okay. I don't want to watch it."
I think now you're just making the situation worse.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get your kid doing hardcore drugs that way.
I've never seen the show, but I have heard what I think everybody's heard about it.
It's your typical HBO TV mature kind of. It's adult content.
Mm-hmm. So should you sometimes have guidelines and say, "No, I'm not going to give you the green light on watching that," knowing that they probably will, but at least you've laid down your own thoughts and saying, under our standards that you live by in this house, you're not watching it?
I don't think it's a bad thing to say that because he's 15. If he was 17, it'd be a little bit different. A lot of that bad content, they say it's NC-17 or whatever. That's because 17 is different than 15.
Okay. Got some comments rolling in here. 877-979-WRMF. Somebody said the fact that the kid is already asking the mother means he's already a snowflake. Too late.
Damn.
See, the text chats, they come hard.
They're going in on this
people.
kid.
Someone else said maybe you should watch it first as the parent and then decide just how bad it is.
Right. Because it's kind of the great unknown. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta also remember everyone's gonna be different when it comes to this stuff. I was a kid where my parents were loose with what we watched. Mm-hmm. So my point of view is going to be if you talk to your kids, and if they're old enough.
Mm-hmm. We do that. We're pretty loose, and I don't get too crazy about things like that. And they all seem to be doing right. But I would understand. I think that some things that my mom did, she was more like, no way. At least I always knew. And now, as an adult, I realize, okay, my mom had some standards, and there were reasons why she was like, yeah, don't keep subjecting yourself to that kind of stuff.
It does get to a
garbage
point,
in, garbage out.
It does get to a point that where your kid does start getting close to the 18 years of age, and I remember my brother was 17. He was 6'7", and he wanted to spend the night at his buddy's house, and my mom wouldn't let him. And
she was afraid he was going to get kidnapped?
Yeah, exactly. There was no rhyme or reason why he could. He didn't understand. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go myself. And then he just started doing it.
He's an NFL linebacker. Who is going to kidnap him?
He's like, you're not going. Why not, Mom? It's Friday night. Because I'm your mother and I said so. He's like, I'm 6'7". I'm going.
I'm 6'7". Good luck.
You and Dad and all the other siblings couldn't stop me if I wanted to leave.
But it got silly to the point where, he's almost look at him. He's a man.
Such a man.
A couple comments. Somebody said, nope, Euphoria is not for anyone under 18, not for kids at all.
Okay.
And another text said, Euphoria is not only adult, but it's also a warped reality that could mess with a kid's mind. I would never let my teenage son watch it. By the way, I enjoy it, but I'm 42.
Okay.
You are also, just be prepared, Kevin. You're going to get a lot of emails titled, Jason doesn't have kids. Shut up.
Marissa's on here from Palm Beach with her thoughts. You have a 16-year-old that watched Euphoria, Marissa?
Yes, I do. Do not recommend watching it with your child, that's for sure. I watched it after him, and I'm so thankful I didn't watch it with him.
Yeah, it's awkward content to sit down and watch with your kid.
It's pretty intense, not just on the drug side, but the nudity and the sex that goes on. It's pretty scary to think that could be actually happening in today's high schools. So I'm very thankful that we didn't watch it together. But, they're watching stuff, whether they're at home or at school or YouTube. So, they're going to see it one way or another.
What do you think about this mom that is not letting her 15-year-old watch it? What would you say to her?
The more you tell a child, at that age at least, not to do something, the more they're going to want to do it. So they'll find a way to watch it.
Sure. Yeah, and especially the fact that he's got the dad's blessing, and now it's 2 against 1. In fact, some people are saying the dad's kind of a jerk for not standing by his wife. What happened to United Front?
It does make it hard if Dad is not going to support where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. Has either one of the parents watched it, though? If you haven't watched it yourself, you're kind of just commenting on the great unknown.
Yeah, I did like that comment. I think the best thing to do is first watch a little bit of it yourself so you get an idea. So if you are saying no, be like, I've seen it.
Here's why.
I don't want you to see this kind of content.
Right. It's just too much for you, and it's just too intense and out there and sexual and drugs, and it's a warped sense of reality, like the caller said. So that warpedness doesn't belong in a 15-year-old brain.
Like Stephanie in the chat room says, yeah, let him watch whatever he wants like Jason did, because Jason doesn't have any issues, does he?
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, don't listen to me. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
And another email here says, am I the jerk for asking my wife to not dance? Says, my wife is a terrible dancer, but she loves doing it. And I have a wedding that I got to go to for my boss. He's tying the knot, and everybody from work is going to be there. And if my wife goes, there's no way she's not going to want to start dancing, especially when she starts drinking, which makes it even worse. When I told her about the wedding, she immediately said that she was so excited to cut the rug. And I've been like, you know what, can we just like lay low and, just not do anything that would be stand off or stand outish? She got really offended when I asked this of her, and she said that it was a jerky request, that I'm taking this wedding way too seriously. But I know how my coworkers are. They will make so much fun of my wife's dancing. And it's no doubt going to be putting an embarrassing target on my back at work.
She dances like Elaine from Seinfeld.
Yeah, probably, or just it's not good, or she goes all out, and especially if she's been thrown back a couple of wines.
It's one thing if you are goofy dancing and you're not taking it seriously. It's the person that's terrible at dancing taking it serious and doesn't know they're terrible.
He said, why can't we just eat some dinner and leave as soon as possible?
Oh, what's the fun in that?
I even offered to take her dancing after the wedding on our own. But she's like, well, we're there. I mean, why not? The music's going to be great. They're going to have some free cocktails. I don't get it. So am I the jerk for asking her to not dance at my boss's wedding?
I think you are a jerk because that's your partner. Let your partner be. Let her dance. I'm a goofball. I say let you be. If you're going to do some goofy dancing or just dance on the dance floor, have fun.
Well, why not go join her? Whatever she's doing out there that's so cringy and embarrassing, if you go out there too and just have a few drinks and let loose and have fun and laugh together while you're dancing, life's short, baby.
And so what if your coworkers make fun of her dancing? It's not you know what I mean? It's not something that's going to break anything.
Right.
Go out there with her,
yeah,
though.
Go dance.
Turn it out and be silly yourself.
But we're dancing people. We're goofballs. If you ask somebody who gets embarrassed easily, a little bit more not look at me kind of a thing.
The introvert,
yes.
They want to fly under the radar. They want to just have the meal, pay the respects, and get the heck out of there.
No. I came to break dance, and that's what I'm doing.
Me and Virginia are the look at me people.
Well, we just feel like we express ourselves so well. Cocktails plus dance equals awesome.
I just think it's one of those things. Life is very short. And on your deathbed, is it really going to matter that people are making fun of your wife dancing at an event?
No,
it's not.
On your deathbed, aren't you going to say, man, I wish I would have danced more?
On the deathbed,
But
yes.
instead, I sat in the corner and I was mad at my wife for being out there and having fun.
Newsflash, people are going to say crap about you no matter what anyway.
Yeah. The comments rolling in. Yes, you are a jerk. You should be proud to have her as your woman and not care. Another person says he's an uptight douche.
Yeah, he needs to realize that life is short. Have fun, dance goofy, smile more. Stop being a douche.
Dance, baby, dance.
That's right. Okay, I want to find out if you're being the jerk. We will definitely let you know, or the chat room will, one of the two. You can just send us that email, mail@kvjshow.com, mail@kvjshow.com.